Greetings YouTube, the author Mark Simmons here, back for my 23rd instalment of my readings from the Psionic Powers Trilogy. In this episode I will be reading a snippet from chapter 13 of my third novel, Raised from Darkness. In the story so far, our protagonist is now alone, injured, and has found himself on what seems like a endless stairway, whatever you want to call it. Raised from Darkness is available on Amazon via Poe Boy Publishing. As per usual, I've not rehearsed this, so we'll see how it goes down. This is an extract from chapter 13, which is called Downwards. He tried to move his legs again and was greeted with the same numbness, but there was definitely feeling in his left foot. Putting an elbow on the step above, he pulled himself up onto it and arranged himself into a sitting position. Through gritted teeth, he wiggled his toes and rubbed his calf muscles. His left digits were moving more than his right, and as they tapped within his shoe, he could feel movement in his ankle. Soon he had feeling in his left calf and was able to lift his knee up to his chest. His right leg, however, was still not responding. He had to get it working somehow. He continued to massage the calf muscles and tried to make fists with his toes. Fists with your toes. Through the silence, footsteps echoed off the stone walls above. Whitfield looked up to see if he could see who or what was coming, but all that greeted him was blackness. Whomever it was, they were coming down. However, their footsteps lacked the urgency of Foreman, which gave him enough of a spur to try and get moving. Using his left arm and leg to gain some leverage, he lifted himself up onto his feet. As he put weight on his right foot, a sharp pain shot up his leg, and he had to bite back the urge to scream. He didn't need whoever was coming down the steps knowing that he was there. However, as he took another step, it felt like someone had driven a nail into the arch of his foot. He hobbled forward, using the wall as a support, and fighting back the bile that had risen in his throat. Above, more footsteps bounced off the stone surfaces, and were followed by what sounded like a scuffle. Panic set in as he remembered that Shannon was still up there. He could only hope that she had remained in the small alcove out of sight. Whoever was up there was moving towards him. Down was his only choice. Using the wall as a guide and also a crutch, he started to wind his way down the endless staircase. What little light there had been up above appeared to have moved further into the depths of the earth. What little light there had been up above disappeared as he moved further into the depths of the earth. The pitch weighed down on his already terrified shoulders. Maybe he could use his lighter, just for a second, to get an idea of where he was, to banish the absolute darkness, and to stave off some of his terror, if only for a moment. But he would also have to keep going, as those above would surely be gaining on him. As he stopped and pulled the lighter from his pocket, something called out from the gloom above. Fists struck against flesh, and this was followed by a scream. The noise rapidly got louder as its creator fell from the steps. A body struck the stairs just below where Whitfield was stood, the scream stopping as it impacted, and then disappeared over the edge. The incident was over in an instant, but the body left behind a gift. Whitfield smelt the sweet odour of their blood, an overwhelming urge to get down onto the floor and lap up the spilt substance came over him. But as he took a step towards the pool, The pain in his leg overcame the desire to feed. He leaned against the wall while he waited for the wave of discomfort to pass. As his hand ran over the wall to help stabilise his broken body, it found the edge of an alcove and then slipped into a gap. The discovery was enough to make him decide to gamble on a bit of light. He ran his thumb across the flint of the Zippo. It sparked to life, but illuminated a lot less of Whitfield's surroundings than he would have liked. The other side of the room was lost to him, and he couldn't see more than 5 or 6 steps down or up. The light did, however, reveal the shelf that had been carved into the wall. He moved the flame closer to the space. Within the opening, he could see a body. Judging by the dust that covered it, the deceased had been there for a very long time. It was a cramped final resting place. But then again, how much space did you really need when you were dead? The decomposition on the skull was almost complete. Only a thin layer of grey skin remained. But it wasn't the body that interested him. More the clothes that it had been buried in. Clothes was a stretch, really. The death shroud was no more than a robe made from a rough material. A robe not too dissimilar to the one Yves wore. Was this the Italian priest's predecessor? Have to ask him about that. As he turned away from the body, he noticed that there were more holes in the walls, each one holding a robed form. Was Yves part of some kind of cult? A smaller faction of the church, maybe? A new set of footsteps approaching from above finished his musings. He flicked the lighter shut and carried on down the steps. With each drop down onto the next step, he was jolted by pain that shot up his leg, and with each jolt, he had to hold back from crying out. All he wanted to do was stop and sit down, so he could rest his leg. However, he was being followed. Whitfield was pretty sure that they had no idea he was ahead of them, as they had not picked up their pace. But as each shot of agony coursed through his bones, he found it harder to keep quiet. And as soon as they knew he was in front of them, they would come running. With his lower lip wedged between his teeth, he continued downward. As all sense of time left him, and any hope that he had stored up inside began to leave him, a soft glow formed in the centre of the downward spiral. He risked a glance over the edge and leant out to look down. There was definitely a light flickering far below. It was enough to make him double his efforts, and even though every step hurt twice as much, he moved as fast as he could. There you go. Chapter 13, getting towards the end of the story, really. The link for the UK and US Amazon page will be available in the body of this video, along with my Facebook author page, my Instagram page, my Twitter page. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Either way, it's all good. And yeah, I will see you next week for the final instalment. Laters.